pretzel, pretzel, I had a pretzel. Is that new? Has that always been there? Or no? I haven't picked up on this.
My guy, I'm rolling with my ninja Jesus Christ. Satan can suck on my cock tonight. Some yellow nigga just burned my rice. Let's go, Jesus! God's my guy. I'm rolling with my ninja Jesus Christ. Satan can suck on my cock tonight. Some yellow nigga just burned my rice. Let's go, Jesus!
Temptation, Confession of a Marriage Counselor is a romantic drama from 2012, written, produced, and directed by one of the best in the industry today, Tyler Perry. And I am not just saying that because I agree with a lot of his beliefs. Nope, not at all. Now, not much about this film is known, especially when it comes to the budget. I searched high and low, but I couldn't find any concrete evidence about the budget for this movie. But then I was reminded that doing research for videos on things for the internet is overrated, and if I get something wrong, I might have to do a double upload. Anyways, all I could gather is people really seem to not like this movie. One of the actresses in the film, Kim Kardashian, won a Golden Strawberry Award for Worst Actress, while Tyler Perry was only nominated for Worst Director, but lost out to the people behind some little movie called Movie 43. But that's all probably because people who don't like Tyler Perry movies are godless heathens.
Fucking damn it!
Yeah, Dave, you saved some of that magic for the camera.
You fuck yourself!
Was all the negative press of this movie justified? Let's actually see what all the fuss is about. This is Tyler Perry's Temptation. The film begins in a marriage counseling office in the inner city. Why would a couple like this be in a place like this? You think they could afford a more upscale place than this? Anyway, the husband leaves in a huff and the wife talks about her struggles to the counselor.
I'd like to tell you a story about my sister, if that's okay.
Oh my, this is in no way some kind of setup for some kind of surprise twist ending or anything. I just know it. So she tells us about her sister Judith, what it was like growing up in the countryside, going to church, befriending a boy named Bryce, eventually falling in love, and getting engaged. As they grow up, they both proceed to get their master's degrees. Bryce getting a pharmaceutical job and dreaming of someday owning his own business. Judith wanting her own business as well in marriage counseling, but Bryce says they'll have to save up for that. But for now, she is currently working at a company that specializes in helping millionaires finding suitable partners. Like one of those filthy, smutty dating websites. And we see her interact with one of her co-workers, played by Kim Jong-un.
That blouse, it's telling it all.
So does your dress.
What's wrong with my dress?
Can you even breathe, Ava?
You don't breathe in Hervé.
Oh, good lord, that acting, it's pretty good. And we also see her with her boss, played by former Miss America Vanessa Williams, who speaks with a fake French accent.
Judith Ali is looking to invest in my company. We want to take wise counsel online and international.
Another example of the filthy Americans taking roles away from us French. Not since Steve Martin in The Pink Panther have I seen such a terrible portrayal of French on film. Sacre bleu, I need a bottle of wine and some baguette to calm my nerves.
But it's okay, because later they reveal that she was faking the accent and that she's actually from Georgia.
Spent those 2 weeks in Paris and all of a sudden you got a French accent? Oh, we know you from Georgia.
Bet you better get your ass out of my office.
So Judith is told to meet with a new client of theirs who wants to collaborate with them, Harley, a famous entrepreneur in the big tech industry. They even compare him to Mark Zuckerberg, of all people, he's that big.
Don't know who that is?
No.
The third largest social media inventor since Zuckerberg? Classmate? What planet are you from?
Ah yes, this is the perfect excuse to talk about the fascist leftists that are in charge of the big tech industry, because I personally think that.
I doubt we run in the same circles.
Do you run?
Yeah, every day at
Landover Park, I do it.
You run there?
Convenient. Hope you're ready for more exterior shots of Washington, D.C., because there's plenty of them all throughout this movie. Meanwhile, with Bryce, we see him working at this pharmacy owned by some old lady who makes a bunch of off-color remarks about her employees, not just to himself, but his co-worker, played by Brandy. You remember Brandy, right? She was very popular for a while. People remember Brandy.
She has to be watched.
Why don't you just take the whole bucket?
Oh, I don't want the whole bucket.
Not funny.
There was something I wanted to bring up to you about the questionnaire.
Yeah?
I saw the questions about the relationships, the compatibility, the hobbies, but there are no questions there about sex.
Oh, no. I don't believe in sex before marriage, so why would you need that?
Haha, a character in a movie I can relate to. Finally, it's about time. No, they shouldn't, okay? Because it's offensive to my beliefs. Sexual relations should only happen to create children.
No, the sex should be random, like animals. When it happens, it just happens. In the kitchen, the shower, in the office, on the plane. Are you getting turned on?
Ew, please, you need to go home.
Apparently, Harley gets inside her head and tries to spice up her sex life, so immediately she tries to jump Bryce the second he gets home, and do it on the kitchen floor instead of in the bedroom like good, godly Christian people. Oh, the horror! Thankfully, Bryce controls his sinful urges and tells her to stop.
Okay, no, it's my new shirt. Babe, hey,
Scratch my back!
look, this is weird. We're not gonna do this.
The next day, Judith goes jogging, and of course, she just happens to run into Harley. She accidentally runs into a man on a bike, and he threatens to beat this man with his bare hands. I guess this is to contrast with the previous night where Bryce tells her to simply ignore some men whistling at her. I guess she's happy that he stood up for her, but she doesn't seem to pick up the warning signs of a clearly violent individual. As Bryce seems to have forgotten her birthday coming up, Judith receives some flowers at her desk when she gets to work. But of course, they're from Harley, not her husband. And once again, he shows up to chat her up at work.
I just want to be involved with you, intimately.
And as long as you know that I'm very married.
Point taken. He loves you. I saw that when he picked you up. It's kind of regular.
I beg to differ considering what happens in the next scene.
Wearing that same old shaggy dress, yeah.
A while later, Judith goes to Kim Possible to give her a makeover before she has to go to New Orleans for a presentation with Harley. Cue fashion montage, followed by beauty shots of Louisiana. After the presentation goes well, Harley begins to overstep his boundaries on a private jet ride back. Huh. Well, I didn't know Harley was a close friend of Jeffrey Epstein.
Oh, me! Stop!
Stop. Stop it. Now you can say you resisted.
A little later, after saying she never wants to see him again, they slowly establish her relationship with Bryce isn't going very well. Not only did he forget her birthday 2 years in a row, but now he's just casually watching football while Harley calls her up and continues to corrupt her judgment.
Put him on the phone, Judith.
No. Just stop it.
Why isn't he wondering who you're talking to on the phone right now?
Because he doesn't do that.
If you were mine, I want to know.
So Judith gives in to her desires and has relations with Harley. In a bathtub, in a car, probably on the private jet again, and not once in the bedroom like a good, godly Christian couple. And then he also gets her to do cocaine, while not showing them do it, because this movie was rated PG-13. Because we can't have too much adult imagery in this movie, and it makes them very sleepy. Because that's how drugs work. At least I think that's how that works. I've never done drugs before in my life. As she continues to party with Harley, as well as get her own marriage counseling firm money from him, Bryce finally catches on to what they're doing. As he goes to confront them at a party, Judith gives a heartfelt goodbye, saying that she doesn't love him anymore.
I want to feel alive. I want to feel wanted. You took me for granted. You did. I don't just want a good guy, I want a phenomenal guy.
Notice, she betrayed him, and her name is Judith. Just like how Judas betrayed Jesus. That's a Bible reference for you. So as they go to pick up her Apple laptop at her mother's house in Georgia, her mother doesn't take too kindly to her new lifestyle, and soon Harley gets needlessly physical and throws her mother to the floor. And just now she starts realizing Harley isn't such a good guy once they get back to his apartment.
Believe me? Is that what you gonna do? You the hell you? Is that what you gonna do?
Back with Bryce, he visits Brandy, and after having one beer, he tries to make a move on her.
What are you doing? We're not attracted to each other.
I really hope you find a nice guy.
Bryce, I have HIV.
Wait, what?
I have HIV.
Not since last Vampire on Earth have I seen a twist like this in a movie.
He wants to help find a cure for diseases like AIDS. Maybe that doesn't mean much to you, but it means a lot to people like me who have it.
Or the dramatic twist of Rainbow Dash catching tetanus from a kitchen sink.
Tetanus? Oh, fuck! Oh my god, whoa! Oh!
Oh yeah, I forgot. Brandy mentioned earlier in the film that she has a crazy ex-boyfriend who's been stalking her, to the point where she has multiple locks on her apartment door and carries a baseball bat whenever she answers it. And here, we finally get the world-shattering reveal to who it actually is.
No, I'm not running from Harley anymore.
Harley?
Yeah, the classmate guy. What's wrong? What?
Judith!
What's the matter?
Judith!
Acting! As the two go to rescue her, they pull her body out of a bathtub, all bloody and beaten up, and Bryce tackles Harley to the floor through some glass window pane. But enough of that, time to go back to the framing device with the marriage counselor, and we get another big reveal.
What happened to Judith?
Well, she's alive.
How does the story end?
Still being written.
What? Judith was the marriage counselor the whole time? Oh my god! And we end with her getting her AIDS medication from the pharmacy that Bryce now owns, and they show that he now has a new loving wife and child as Judith walks sadly down the street and the credits roll.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you. Hi, is Bryce here? Yeah, he's in the back.
So that was Tyler Perry's Temptation. It's apparently based on one of his stage plays, and since I'm just a massive fan of everything that Tyler Perry does, the Medea movies, absolute classics to cinema. That is up there with Minions in terms of cinematic classics right there, obviously. Some people who would review this movie more negatively would say things like, the acting is okay, I guess, and for the most part, the cinematography and editing is fine. It's like TV movie quality. It's just that the story itself feels really trite and feels right at home with one of those crappy Lifetime original movies. To add to that, it feels like the message is really like finger waggling and like in your face with the message, and especially all the religious allegories, which, I mean, Tyler Perry's a Christian, that's fine if he wants to express that in his movies. There's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's just that, like a lot of others, like Kirk Cameron, for instance, he doesn't really convey those messages well. However, that's just what someone who wouldn't like this movie would say. I personally think that the movie is absolutely fantastic. The acting is great, the cinematography and the production is amazing, and of course, the lesson is something I completely agree with, and I just think that Tyler Perry did a fantastic job making a film that conveys a message that I specifically agree with. And also, I think it's great that Tyler Perry made this a PG-13 movie, because if you're going to do a film about infidelity and have imagery involving sex and drugs, I think that it's perfectly fine that you don't actually go into that all that much, because, I mean, that would just make the movie rated R and have a bunch of, like, really smutty imagery in there, and I wouldn't approve of that. I would find that offensive to my beliefs. God bless you, Tyler Perry, and may Jesus be with you.
AIDS. Fucking AIDS. Judith! Judith!